Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the anxiety therapist, and today I want to talk about the aftermath of therapy. Understanding kind of what happens to us on an emotional or physiological level after a therapy session. And what prompted this video is I was talking to my friend a few weeks ago, and she was kind of describing how she felt after coming off of a session with her own therapist. And, it wasn't a necessarily great feeling, which is something that is common, and I've heard from a lot of my own clients. And so she suggested that I do a video about this just to kind of educate people about the process and what might happen in the aftermath of therapy. So when we're talking about therapy or counseling, I'm referring to one-on-one therapy where there's a therapist and a client. And obviously we know that therapy is an extremely powerful tool for personal growth and healing, right? It helps us navigate through emotional challenges, confront past traumas, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. But while the benefits of therapy are well documented, it's important to recognize that the process can evoke certain physiological responses in individuals. And so in this video, we'll explore some of these common effects that someone might experience after an emotional therapy session and shed some light on why they might occur, and just really emphasize how important self-care is during the journey of therapy. So the first one is mental exhaustion. So, when we're in therapy, we're often confronting things that we either have been unaware of or have been avoiding for a really long time. So we're delving into some deep-seated emotions, unraveling complex issues, and engaging in a lot of introspection. And so as a result, it's really common for people to feel kind of mentally drained after a therapy session. The process of self-reflection and emotional release can really consume a significant amount of mental and emotional energy. And so this exhaustion might manifest as feelings of fatigue or being really tired, reduced concentration, or just feeling a need for rest. And so it's important to just acknowledge and accept and honor these signs and allow yourself that time to recuperate. Second is emotional release. So, therapy aims to uncover and process some suppressed emotions, which then allow individuals to heal and grow. So during a session, it's common for some intense emotions to surface, and this can lead to a cathartic release of emotion, which is actually what my business is named after, right? Cathartic Space Counseling. Catharsis is just this release of emotion. And so this can look like crying, shaking, heightened sensitivity, things along those lines. And this emotional purging is a normal part of the healing process, and it's actually really indicative of progress being made. So it's important to remember that allowing yourself to experience and express these emotions is crucial for personal growth. A lot of times we have a tendency to sort of internalize our emotions, and then it becomes almost like a pressure cooker where, if we have suppressed emotions for a really long time and not allowed them to come out in some way, then that's going to lead to sort of this tipping point or overflow where emotions are going to come out in a kind of in a bigger way, maybe during therapy or after therapy or whatnot. Third, we have heightened awareness. So as people engage in therapy, really the goal is to become more attuned to your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. And so when we have this heightened self-awareness, this extends beyond the therapy session, right? So it's going to potentially lead to a greater sensitivity to your environment. You might notice additional changes in your body, like an increased heart rate or shallow breathing or muscle tension. And you're going to become more in tune with these physiological or bodily responses to emotional triggers. And this is actually a really important skill, because recognizing these cues can really help people develop healthier coping strategies outside of therapy. Fourth, we have temporary discomfort. So, if therapy is such a valuable and cathartic experience and can really create some positive change, but it can also be intense and challenging, right? We're looking at painful experiences, exploring difficult emotions, etc. So it's not uncommon to experience some temporary discomfort during and after a therapy session. And so this might manifest as feelings of sadness, anxiety, physical tension, things like that. And again, it's important to remember that this discomfort is temporary and also a sign of progress. And so we don't want to avoid or push away those uncomfortable feelings. We want to embrace them and just have some compassion for ourselves. And again, engage in some self-care activities, like maybe journaling, meditation, doing a hobby that you really like, things that are just going to alleviate that temporary discomfort for a bit. And then we have enhanced emotional well-being. So while the immediate aftermath of an intense therapy session might evoke these physiological responses like being tired or uncomfortable emotions, we have to remember that the long-term effects often lead to enhanced emotional well-being. So therapy itself equips people with the tools to manage their emotions, really take a look at thought patterns and identify which thought patterns might be creating certain emotions or patterns of behavior, and how do we establish healthier thought patterns, and then also to cultivate a stronger sense of self. And so over time, the goal is for individuals to experience a reduction in anxiety, improved ability to regulate their mood, and increased resilience when challenges or problems do arise. And so really kind of recognizing the positive changes in your emotional well-being can be a source of motivation during those challenging moments that might arise during therapy. And, sometimes people have sort of like an aha moment where something just clicks, and you can really kind of experience that positive change or that positive growth. But oftentimes it's also that progress is almost like reflective in nature, where you're going to look back over the past few months and be like, oh, okay, I wasn't feeling as anxious, or I didn't get triggered by the same types of things I used to, or my mood was a little bit more stable, or, I had more positive interactions with so-and-so. So a lot of times it's, slow and steady progress that's going to be like you looking back at your experience as opposed to recognizing it in that moment. So I think the biggest takeaway is that, therapy can create just tremendous change and really improve your life, but there are going to be moments that are challenging within that process, but it's so worth it. And, it can really, if you really put in the time and effort to confront things that you may have been avoiding and really learn more about yourself, it really is going to change your life. So feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments, or if there's a topic that you want me to make a video about. I love getting input from my audience, because then I know that these topics are relevant to you. And if you want more information about me and how I might be able to help, check out my website, catharticspacecounseling.com. I hope you'll have a good week. I will see you next time.